Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming this afternoon. So I'm Gaël Blondel. I will spend a few minutes introducing this event. So welcome to Paris. So I try to select two iconic places in Paris. So that's here and the other place. Thanks to Huawei for sponsoring this workshop. Because of course, we will have two important moments: the free content with as in free speech, and then the free as in free beer, where we will have food and drinks, etc., and also good weather and good time to enjoy the conversation. So thanks, Brian, Adrian, and Huawei for supporting us in organizing that. And well, this is our agenda, so that's pretty packed. We are already starting 15 minutes late, but that's okay. We are in Paris, so 15 minutes in Paris is usual. Everybody does that, or there's something wrong. So we will start with two keynotes, one from Brian Shea from Huawei about true multi-cloud interoperability. And I'm saying that in changing the order because Quentin Adam will join us and arrive in a minute. So I think, Brian, we will start with you before Quentin. But Quentin is from Clever Cloud. He's the CEO of Clever Cloud, and will tell us about how EU actors can leverage open source to thrive. After that, we will have my colleague Enzo Ribagnac with our Associate Director of European Policy. And we will Enzo will tell us a bit more about cloud, interoperability, and policy. So that's the three keywords that I think get us together today in this place. And after that, we will come back to more technical topics. So JB Onofre from Dremio and also from the Apache Software Foundation will tell us about Expense and why it's interesting, how to use it to do multi-cloud, and why it's interesting for a company like Dremio. Then Jacobo Nardiello from Rivo. He's not here yet. He will join us later. Okay, will join us soon. Will tell us about the value of open source software for cloud solution providers. So that's also interesting to have users of those technologies. After that, Pierre Gronlier, the CTO of GaiaX, who will also join us in a minute, will tell a story about building trust and verifiable credentials. And finally, our last speaker of the day will be Alexander Diab to tell us more about the aspects of interoperability in cloud computing with a focus, with the point of view of the software sovereign cloud stack. So that's a lot. Then we have time for open discussion, or maybe we will reduce the time for open discussion. We will see how it works. Maybe we will have more open discussion during the cocktail afterward. And yeah, just maybe before we start with Quentin. So just a few words about the Eclipse Foundation. So some of you are here because of KubeCon. So we selected this place because that's hopefully convenient for you. That's not too far. I think 2 minutes walk. So that's good to walk a bit. And the Eclipse Foundation, we are the open source foundation of choice in Europe and from Europe. So we are an organization that moved to Europe 4 years ago now. We are established in Brussels, and we have also hosting capabilities in Europe. And we host, we do everything on a global scale, but from a European perspective. Just a few numbers about the foundation. So we have more than 400 projects, 2,000 committers, more than 300 members, and yeah, 70 people, including more than the 70 staff members are based in Europe now, and also 21 industry collaborations. I'll come back to that in a minute. And our mission is around those three concepts. Is that, you know, we are a non-profit organization, and we are here to help users and developers of technology to make the technologies sustainable. And I think that's very important. And when you think about open source, that really makes a difference to have open source projects hosted by a foundation. So our mission is really to ensure user freedoms. Like, you can be certain that what you get at the Eclipse Foundation will be open source forever. Empowering developers. So we have 2,000 developers contributing to the project, and those 2,000 developers are really the core of this community, and there are more coming every time. And also enabling collaboration, and in particular enabling collaboration between companies. That relies on 4 fundamental principles of openness, transparency, meritocracy, and vendor neutrality. And I think that we really stick to that. Everything is deep in our bylaws, in our development process. And when you take a project from Eclipse, you can be certain that what you get is something that complies with best practices of open source project management, and that there is not only the documentation to make that happen, but also the team to operate the processes. And all the documentation is freely available, but I can tell you that without the team, it doesn't work so well. So I will just a minute about this slide. You know, what we provide is really governance processes, IP management and licensing, community development, like organizing small events like that, infrastructure and security. So security is a big topic now, and maybe, I don't know, Enzo, you may mention some few things about the CRA, etc. But security and the supply chain security of open source, we think that open source foundations have a big role to play in that domain, and also, yeah. So that's what we provide to all our working groups. So we have different pillars, and one big pillar is the Java ecosystem, automotive, embedded in IoT, development tools, of course, and also on the right, you can see emerging collaboration, and in the emerging collaboration, you have lots of stuff about data spaces, for example. Okay, so that's about, and maybe I will go very fast on that because I'm certain that Quentin will mention that, but open source enabling digital sovereignty, because when it's open source, you really move the needle from, okay, can I access this technology, to, okay, do I have the skills to run this technology, to modify it, to redistribute it, to improve it. And that really makes a difference from my point of view. And at Eclipse, we already have significant number of projects on this domain. So that includes Katina X and the open source project TractorSex, that is enabling the automotive industry and their supply chain. XFSC, that's GaiaX Federated Services from Germany. Eclipse data space components, that are components to create a data space. And the last one will be featured later, that's Expense. And in Expense, I had the open source study to show, but I think, Enzo, you took it from me. So this is This is something we did together with Décision Études et Conseil last year, and that's a document that you can get online about unlock the cloud interoperability to foster the EU digital market, and that's also something that Brian will present in more details in a few minutes.